Really?
Your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealer's strong play of the weekend.
Really?
Scadaboo the back. Dart, design run. Up the middle he goes to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown Giants! Jackson Dart! Got a quarterback drop from 15 yards out in his first start. Gives the Giants the lead.
There's the Chevy Strong play of the game. Jackson Dart from Roy High and Corner Canyon High with his first NFL touchdown in his first start on the first drive. Know it today. After 3 o'clock, JJ and Alex will call for it, and you can win fabulous prizes.
Was his mother at the game?
I do not know the answer.
Yeah, they only showed her 500 times. Jeez. Lisa and Kara.
Hey, they want a motion to draw you in. Not you, because you're hardcore, you're already in, but to draw in people who might drift away. So show the mom. She's going to be emotional.
What are you, Dobie Gray?
Yeah. Don Ohlmeyer.
Jeez.
Rune Arledge.
We did get to see the fish, and they said that both sets of grandparents were there, aunts, uncles. I mean, if you had any connection to old Jackson Dart, you were there. And good for him. Good for the Giants. Good for Dable. I like Dable. I want to see him succeed. On the Kenny Chesney channel, they do a thing where they have a guest DJ, and he was one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Reid was one of them.
See a little personality?
Yeah. Dan Mullen was one of them. Hannah Storm came on, and she was one of them.
It's crazy how these NFL teams fire coaches, not in every case, but in a lot of cases, because they don't have a quarterback. That's what it comes down to. Get yourself a good quarterback. That coach gets pretty smart pretty quickly. Now, if you're behind the scenes, the way Ryan Smith was just talking, and you see somebody make 50 decisions, and you see the arguments, and you realize that person's on the wrong side way too often. Okay, make the change. But I just think so often, fix your quarterback. You can go through 40 coaches, fix your quarterback.
But you can't just fix your quarterback. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, pay 4 coaches at the same time then. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Draft a quarterback, develop him, and sheesh, maybe he turns out, maybe he doesn't. I mean, you look at colleges, man. All these dudes, these high dudes, UCLA, their quarterback, with him, with Nico. I mean, they're 0-4. They look like they got no future. And Fernando Mendoza is a big shot at Cal, or not, he was at Cal, and now he's at Indiana, and he's from Miami, and they said that coming to Cal, that was like his only offer. Josh Allen, it was his only offer. So along the way, he's constantly, speaking generally, is misjudged, either good or bad, undervalued, overvalued, whatever it might be. It's almost impossible to get a good quarterback that is going to be a good quarterback.
There's a lot of 2- and 3-star quarterbacks who end up being really good in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers had to go to junior college, then one offer at Cal.
The list goes on and on.
Kevin Love has stepped to the podium. Jazz Media Day continues here on the KSL Sports Zone. Here's Kevin Love.
Kyle Anderson and myself, and I get the business side of it. But from a personal side, I was just kind of weighing all my options due to having truly it all started with my 2 young daughters at home. I have a 2-year-old who's going to preschool in Miami, and then an 8-month-old, and it was picking up and moving them within the course of a couple months. Of course it happens, right? Like these things always happen. I was traded on draft night. I was traded in 2014 to Minnesota, from Minnesota to Cleveland, and then I got bought out, and I moved in the middle of the season or 60 games into Miami, and then of course, this happened. So I've seen a lot of these things, and it's not new to professional sports or, what anybody does for their living, or a living, excuse me. But I think I was weighing, the personal side of things and kind of moving away from my daughters, and am I going to take them with me, and just wanted to gather all the information that I could. But I will say I've spent a lot of time here, actually, not only southern Utah, but I spent a lot of time in Park City and Deer Valley for 4 or 5 months, or weeks out of the summer months, through 2015 through 18 or 19. So know the area pretty well. Salt Lake, not too much, but looking forward to it. But the decision was really made after talking to Austin and Will. And I thought that just in kind of who I know here, the people here, as well as, potentially having a very positive impact. People always say, well, people have said to me, well, what if you go and it doesn't work out? I'm like, what if it does? Right? And whatever that looks like, what if it does? So whereas in the past I could have very well been and likely would have been a pessimist and, try to channel something to make that work for me. I'd rather look at it in a very positive light and have a, more likely, and I feel like I'm better off doing that than if I were to do the opposite. So I just want to, again, be a positive force and just be unapologetically myself.
There is Kevin Love at the podium. Jazz Media Day continues here on KSL Sports Zone, and we are joined now by Kyle Anderson. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So here's a question along the same lines of what I think Kevin was just talking about. What's it like to come be a veteran on a team that is obviously very young and everything that means in the NBA?
Well, I think these are similar roles to obviously I wasn't this far in my career, but in Memphis, but in Minnesota, where we have a lot of young talent, and I kind of was there and around for us to turn the curve and get into the playoffs and do big things like that. So I think it's just another opportunity to grow with these guys. I'm super excited for what we got going on. And, these are some good young players. Just, try to show them good habits. I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything like that, but just continue to be myself and, hopefully we get this thing going.
Now, Kyle, I know we're way out here in Utah. Some people think it's no man's land, but I want you to know, Kyle, that I was born in Orange, New Jersey, Essex County.
Oh, wow.
And not just that, Kyle, my sister, older sister, she graduated from Glassboro.
Oh, wow. Okay, just like my dad. Just like my dad, yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. May I ask what year?
That I was born?
That she graduated.
Oh, she's older than me.
There he is.
So I think it was sometime in the 70s.
Okay.
And, of course, now it's been bought out, and it's called Rowan.
Rowan University,
which she does not like.
Yeah, my dad neither.
They made that big donation, I guess, some guy named Rowan.
Yeah.
She still has on her car Glassboro State.
Right.
So, anyway, you've been around the block, obviously, and played in the league. It's funny, you're only 32. I think you just turned 32, right?
Yeah, correct.
But somehow you're viewed as this 30-year veteran, and you're really not.
No.
You're just turned 32. And I'm wondering, when the situation came here that you would be with the Jazz, players in the league. You've been around, as we say. Did you talk to anybody Gobert was a teammate and all that stuff, to say, hey, what's up with the Jazz?
Yeah, actually, when I signed, Nikhil Alexander-Walker shot me a text, and he let me know how he loved the organization and he loved the facility and, how much he enjoyed playing here. So, obviously I didn't know what to think when I got traded here. I was just kind of ready to take everything all in. And, he kind of let me know that, it's a good deal over here and I'll be all right. So, that was pretty reassuring.
Sure.
Did Rudy try to sell you his house?
Rudy?
Yeah.
No. He invited me over for dinner a few weeks ago, so I think he loves that house. I don't think he's getting rid of it.
And because you've been in the league, you've been in many different situations. You've been in contenders, you've been in rebuild and all that stuff.
Correct.
How much do you think just your experience of being in all sorts of various situations in the league can benefit yourself in adapting here, but also benefit the team?
Yeah, just like you said, I've been around, so I understand in this league you can't get too high, you can't get too low. Like I said, I want to come in here and be the vocal leader or step on guys' toes. But whenever I could share my experiences or what I've gained knowledge-wise from being in this league, I'm always here to help the young guys, and I want to help them improve and get better, and go see them be good players in this league.
We just had someone in the organization talking to us about doors, that a lot of these young guys are standing in front of multiple doors, and the choices they make depends on whether they get to walk through the door that leads to the nine-figure contract.
For sure.
The door that has them in the league for 10 years, but, playing for 6 or 7 teams, or the door that has them playing in Europe.
For sure. For sure.
What's
going on, my guy? I'm good. How are you?
Good. How do you bring that up with guys? Because it's just hard. You know stuff when you're 19.
Right.
There's stuff you can't know at 19 until you're 29.
For sure.
So how do you help them speed that up and everything else about playing in the NBA?
Yeah, like I said, that's a great analogy. The way you put it is certain doors, and, to walk in and out of those doors takes a split second. You could walk down a bad door and develop bad habits, or, like you say, you could develop good habits to lead to, pretty promising doors. So, like you said, I'm 32 now, as opposed to being the age of these young guys. I'm always here to help them and just to help them form good habits around the facility. It doesn't just start at 7 o'clock game time when the ball goes up. It starts with, how you prepare, putting in the work in the off season at the facility, things like that, and being a good teammate. That all plays into, going into the most promising door.
How long did it take you to learn all that?
I would say it took probably about 8 or 9 years, 7, 8, 9 years. And I'm still learning. I'm coming into the season with a different mindset that I've had in the past, where I've been so, I want results. I want good results instead of really focusing on the process. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on this year is process. The results are results, but if I do everything I can do to prepare to be successful, then it should go well.
Yeah.
How different are NBA offenses now versus the way the game was played when you came in?
Oh, for sure. It's a big difference. When I first came in the league, the ball had to go to the post. Like, if you didn't throw it to the big on the block, you were going to hear about it from your big man and from your coach. So now I think the game's a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more spread out. Guys can shoot the ball really well. So it's just such a different game to where maybe coach will tell you, yeah, we're not really throwing it on the block. That's not efficient, things like that. So, it's the styles have switched tremendously.
For a new set of fans that you'll be playing for in front of at home, and obviously we'll watch you on television, how would you describe your game?
I would say I'm pretty cerebral. I think I'm a guy that makes good decisions. I try not to turn the ball over. I like to get my teammates involved. Just being a playmaker, I think I, can defend pretty well. I think I can rebound, and I'm a skilled guy who can grab a rebound and start a fast break and, get these young guys out and running. And my handle is pretty good as well. I've always been a point guard my whole life. So, that's just what I think I bring to the table.
Being able to watch you in college, UCLA, I mean, this is our job, so we pay attention to all this stuff and watch you from the time in college and NBA. My line, if you would ask me, what does Kyle Anderson do, I would say pretty much everything. He's good enough to do anything and everything. You think that's accurate?
I wouldn't say everything. I think I've there's a few things obviously I'm not too good at, but I think I just, can play all 5 positions if you ask me to, and I'm pretty versatile.
Right.
And,
that's what I meant.
That's as far as I'll go, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to lead the league in block shots, but you're not going to be asked to do that.
Right,
So basically whatever you're asked to do.
Correct. I take pride in doing, whatever a coach asks me to do. I'm a coach's son, so I've always had to.
So you played for a half dozen teams here in your NBA career, and you've been in the league a long time now. So you cross paths with a lot of big-time coaches and a lot of big-time players. You're not done yet, so I'm not pushing you out the door.
No,
but I'm just curious, looking back, like, do you look back now and say, this person really shaped me, playing alongside this, or maybe playing against somebody really shaped me? Who are the major influences that turned you into the guy you are right now?
I would say Timmy Duncan. Just watching him and his focus and his preparation and how serious he took everything and how he handled wins, how he handled losses, just his attitude, how he would act at dinner, how he would interact with people. Really watched that a lot. Mike Conley was a guy in year 5, my first year in Memphis, that really helped me, get on track with what I spoke about previously, focusing on the preparation and your process and getting in the gym and eating the right foods. He kind of really laid down that law to me. And I remember the conversation on the plane. It was about an hour long, and he kind of really shifted things for me and helped me become a better pro. I would say those two guys for sure.
Now, you did just turn 32. Guys are playing later, beyond 35, and playing effectively. What do you think you're looking at?
That's the goal. I want to do this for as long as I could. I really enjoy, playing the game and love being around. And I think my game doesn't have as much force to where the decline shouldn't be as bad. So, I think I could do this for a long time. I feel really good, and I want to do this for a long time.
Right. Good. It's been great to meet you. We could talk to you a little longer, but we just got the wrap up.
So you are pushing me out.
Yeah, there we go. We have no
nice
choice.
To meet you guys.
Welcome, feather Jerseyan.
Yes, sir. There you go.
We'll talk later about UCLA playing UC Santa Barbara again.
All right.
Ben Howland said, enjoy it. You're not coming back. Then UCSB won the game. And
I think I lost to UCSB.
All right, thanks. Kyle Anderson, one of the new Jazz men, joining us right here. It's Jazz Me today. We're here till noon. Jake and Ben are going to pick it up at 10 o'clock. You'll hear more from players. Ryan Smith's already been on. Austin Ainge has already been on. Those are available wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to them at your convenience, and we'll have more in a moment right here on the KSL Sports Zone.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson, Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. PK, did you know that we are brought to you in part by Trajan Wealth? Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Time for the Slacker Radio headlines. What have people missed in this show?
Well, it's been a lot of jazz, and, of course, there's going to be optimism today, as there should be, Why go into a season be all pessimistic? I guess that's for the fans. But the players and the management, they can't do that. And I think there's going to be maybe not, a ton of wins, but there's an opportunity to really see some development. When we get to May, we better have some real positives from this team individually. Talking about not necessarily the W's and L's, I understand that, but Ace Bailey, man, he made a good impression over those 80 games, whatever it is, and he's a hard worker. He's a young kid, but he's willing to work hard. Taylor Hendricks, I forgot about that injury, man. That body, he spent some time working on it, and he could do some really good things. And I can go down the list, but y'all get the point. If we don't have that, then it's a disappointment. I think we will have that, though. There's too much young talent, and there's so much young talent that somebody's got to do it. Even if we were, or the management and the coaches say they're the worst ever at their jobs, which obviously they're not, but just because of the numbers, there's going to be guys who develop. There has to be.
The question is how many, and Ryan Smith gave us a little peek. He said, if you hit on 50 or 60%. So out of 9.
When you coming on?
That'd be 4, 5, or 6.
That was me yelling at Danny Ainge.
He's half a court away. And you just holler, when are you coming on? At 10 o'clock when Ben gets here. He likes Ben. He doesn't like us.
Come on, I've known him forever.
I know. All right. DJ and PK, 4, 5, or 6 out of 9. There's the question mark. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll see if we have Danny on the other side of this break. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the Zone. We are joined now by Danny Ainge.
He's got to do one thing real quick. Give him a second.
He's going to do one thing real quick.
Yeah.
No, he's now going to join us immediately.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
Another year, another media day.
Yeah. I've been through a few of these.
Yeah, but what did they look like when you were playing? It had to be different.
I don't know. We're coming close to 50.
50 years. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a few.
Yeah.
That is a few. So how is your life different now than it was a year ago, now that Austin is on board and he's got new responsibilities? What is Danny Ainge doing for the Jazz in the fall of 2025?
Well, I'm doing what I originally made a deal with Ryan to do, was consulting our people here. It's amazing when Ryan called me and told me that we were bringing in Austin, that was a home run for me. But Austin and I have worked together for 14 years, and we know each other really well, and he's got his own way of thinking. But we get along. What I love about working with Austin is we can debate and fight and scream and go play golf 5 minutes later. So I think it's a really healthy relationship, and I'm excited for him. He's been looking forward to this opportunity in the league. And I think Ryan is really going to be good for him. And Austin for Ryan. I think it'll be good, and will. I think that the three of them will get along great.
Given your tenure in the league and as a prominent athlete, as a player and all that stuff, you've seen a lot of different things, and you know what it would take to be good. When you look at Austin's position, just not particular to him individually, but just the position, what does that position need to do for the individual in order for him to be successful?
Wait, I'm not sure I understand
so,
that.
Just, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
You've been general manager, whatever the title is these days, right? So you know what it takes to be a successful general manager. What is that?
Well, I think that it's putting yourself in position to make good deals. It's all about getting talent and surrounding yourself with talent. And there's a lot of buzzwords that we talk about in this world of athletics, like creating a culture and et cetera. But I think that you got to have talent, and you got to get talent. And so there's lots of ways to get talent. And we see in the NBA right now, free agency is less. There's just not as many free agents and big signing free agents that happen in the NBA. And so it's been where you've had salary cap space, flexibility is important. So right now we have flexibility coming up in this next off season, and we have young players that we're trying to develop right now, and those young players need to step up. And I feel like they've had a great summer, and I'm really excited about this upcoming year and to watch how it manifests itself on the court and in games, because a lot of them are still young.
Yeah.
You obviously had high hopes for Taylor Hendricks, or wouldn't draft him where you did, and then he has this injury. What should expectations be like? On the one hand, got to understand he hasn't played in a year, but on the other hand, like everybody else, he's got to step up. So where would you set expectations, and where should fans set them?
Yeah, I don't know about expectations. I think that my expectations are Taylor didn't have a great rookie year. He had some shining moments, but didn't have a great rookie year. But we kind of knew that when we were drafting him at that age. And then last year he was showing, before the injury, he was showing during the summer, and that's why we have hope for a lot of the guys on our roster. At that age, when you're bringing guys in that are that young, you got to give them time. And so Taylor obviously took a step backwards with this injury, but he's put on more strength. His game is different, meaning that now he's 30 pounds stronger. He's bench pressing 325 pounds in the weight room. He's his body is just completely different. And so, he appears to be right now more of a 4 than a 3. But I think he can still shoot. I think he can guard. I think his defense is in a different way now with his strength, his added muscle. But I'm excited for Taylor. He's got such a great attitude, and he's put such amazing amount of time into work, getting back. And I've been in this game a long time, and I don't always see that with the passion that Taylor has done it and the enthusiasm. So I'm rooting really hard for him.
With Taylor with Ace Bailey. I think we can throw Kyle Filipowski in there. Lowry tears it up in the summer. You got those wing guys that have been mentioned prominently. And I haven't heard, and it's just a snapshot, so it's not exactly like a big dose of evidence, but I haven't heard Cody Williams' name mentioned much. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Cody would fall in the same category as Taylor. When we drafted Cody, we knew he wasn't ready for prime time. He was very young and light. We had much higher expectation for Cody to play more in the G League last year, and he got hurt the last month and a half of the season. He had some really good games in the G League, and you could see some potential. But when a guy like Cody, who's a little bit, he's young and his role is such that his defense is his calling card, and he's not strong enough yet. He's not physically ready to do what he's doing. But since the day we drafted Cody, he's put on 30 pounds. And you can't tell it by watching him. He's still really thin, but he's put on 30 pounds. And so his resistance is better. Like he's fighting, he's competing more. He's had a really good summer. But it's probably good that we don't talk, we can't talk about every guy, but I think Cody is still not ready for the, primetime NBA starter type of role, but I think that Cody is getting better. And I'm really excited to watch him play this year. Whether it's some in the G League or off the bench, a lot of it will depend on the roles that Will decides and who's playing the minutes. But we need Cody to stay healthy and play a lot this year, regardless of where it is.
Danny Ainge joining us, and before there's another player I want to ask about, but first, PK always runs this quote out about you, something you said about FGAs are the most important stat. Does anything like that sound familiar to you?
I mean, I say that mostly jokingly. It's kind of like I say that to kids. I say that at camps. So there's a story behind that, and when I was a young player in the NBA. The only time I would be frustrated would usually be a playoff game, and I wasn't as aggressive as I needed to be. I wasn't, I was tentative in a shot. I mean, I'm playing with Bird and McHale and Parrish and all these great players, but I just wasn't. So I would go out after a game and be in the gym by myself and just shoot, but I've been practicing mentally. I'm shooting it every single time because I hated that tentative feeling that I had. I'd never had that in my life. And now I'm at the biggest stage, and I felt it, and so I wanted to overcome that. So fast forward, 2008, Rajon Rondo is on our team, and he has a good first 2 games of the NBA Finals. And the next 3 games in L.A., he plays bad, and they're not guarding him, and Kobe's kind of playing off as a free safety on him and making him shoot. And so after Game 5, now we fly back for Boston for Game 6, and I say, Rajon, you got to shoot it every time. And I told him a little bit about my stories, you got to be more aggressive than you've ever thought of being and shoot it every time you're open. And then I remember Doc Rivers goes, you told him what? And we got Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and KG on the team, and yeah, but at the end of that game, Rajon was the best player on the planet in Game 6. Better than Kobe, better than Paul, better than Ray, better than all of them, and we won the championship by 30 points in Game 6. And so, it's not that you're going to actually shoot it every time, or you're not going to shoot all of the field goal attempts. It's just a mindset more than anything. You've got to be assertive and aggressive.
So all of that was to ask you about Bryce Sensabaugh, because obviously in his second year he changed his body. It looked a lot better. Just watching on TV. Yep. You got all the data. I can just look on TV and he's in much better shape. He shot it way better.
Yeah.
And that's what they give you points for, but you still got to be good at the other stuff. So what are you looking for him to add as he continues to shoot it really well, and that is the most important stat, but rebounding, defense, ability to pass the ball, whatever it might be, leadership?
Yeah, I mean, and this is the challenge of the world that we live in now. I mean, there's always been kids that are one and dones and that come out, but in the last few years, it's just getting more and more and more. But these kids should be juniors and seniors in college, and I think so. We talked about expectations of Cody, who didn't play much as a freshman at Colorado, and last year was his sophomore year in college, and he was hurt a lot of the year last year too. So these guys are, my expectations are not super high. They don't usually reach their peak until they're 26, 27, 28 years old. And so I'm encouraged by all the young guys that we have. But I think that the expectations are just, it changes when you have these young guys. So Bryce is another guy like that. I mean, he wasn't great as a rookie. He wasn't in good enough shape. We knew that when we drafted him. He's a good shooter, not a great shooter. He's got to get better defensively, and I would still say all those things. Like, he's getting better. He put in a lot of work this summer. His body's even better than it was. Very, very strong, but a lot stronger than he was 2 years ago. So, he had an unbelievable shooting season last year and summer league, and he shoots well in practice every day. I mean, he's a really good shooter, so we're excited about Bryce.
When you were back in Boston, it was viewed as a controversial decision. You didn't want to extend the big money to Isaiah Thomas. You're going to have a bunch of guys that are going to be in that position here in the coming years. What are you looking for in terms of deciding, we should go with this player, not with this player, to lock him up or let him go?
It's building a team is hard in the world today with salary cap and restrictions, and even the teams that have unlimited money in the past, like Golden State and the Clippers. Like, you've seen the adjustments that they've made, letting certain people walk, et cetera, because you lose a competitive advantage if you're over the luxury tax. If you're over a certain phase of the luxury tax. And so I think that you have to be strategic in when and how you pay and how much you pay. Like, every dollar matters.
That's what your son said.
Is that what he said?
Exact quote.
Yeah, I mean, it matters. Obviously, a little bit here and there, but that's not exact. But it matters when you're building, and the timing matters. And so, oftentimes in free agency, you have a team option, a player has a player option, and exercising those options to your benefit in building a team are huge, and so timing matters when you make those decisions. Obviously, with Isaiah, he was a great player. He was huge for us in Boston. Unfortunately, we didn't extend him, mostly because he got hurt. His health, which has proven to be accurate, his health was not the same. And what an unbelievable person and an unbelievable player that he was.
How much are you going to be traveling and scouting now in your new role? Are you going to be out looking at college kids a lot, a little?
Yeah, so I think this year with Austin coming in and getting acclimated and he'll be with the team a little bit more. For the first month, and November is a big scouting schedule, and Thanksgiving and early November games all over the country. I'll be traveling a lot in November.
You like doing that?
And we'll go from there.
That's fun for you?
Yeah.
I saw you for years out on the road.
It's a fun part of the game.
Yeah.
I love watching the young players play today. Yeah, going to practices and watching games.
How much do you watch, and there's probably rules about this I'm not aware of, as far as how young can you see somebody in person? How much do you watch them in video, and how old are they before you bother to spend the time and expense, which is obviously time's limited, to go see them in person? How's that working with guys being younger and younger than ever?
Well, we have a grassroots organization that is watching these kids play. There's sanctioned events, Peach Jam tournaments, and all during the summer, and then there's your international tournaments. And so we have a grassroots organization that has watched all of them play. Personally, I haven't been as involved in that, except when you have high school sanctioned events. I mean, I saw Cooper Flag, and I can't tell you, I'm not supposed to talk about names of college players currently, but I've watched a lot of these kids that are coming up in this year's draft in some of those sanctioned events.
So do you see them at 17? Do you see them at 16?
Usually 17, but occasionally 16 you see them, and the Hoop Summit. And
So then you would have watched Ace Bailey well before he got to college?
Oh, yeah. But Ace wasn't as prominent a player, meaning he wasn't playing in as many of those events as some of the other kids do. But, yeah, seen him play for a while, a couple of years. Same thing like when we drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'd seen them play at age 16 and 17. coming up. And Donovan Mitchell, saw him play at Brewster Academy a handful of times. I had an advantage there because my son was playing against him at one of the prep schools.
How much are you drafting on measurables at this point when the kids are so young? It's like, that's a nice player, but, he's 6'2", as opposed to this guy's 6'9", and he might grow a little more, and we're going to have to teach him a lot, but can't teach him to be 6'9" with long arms.
Yeah, 6'9" and long is harder to find than 6'2". 6'2", you got to be pretty special. You got to make it in our league, and so I think both of those come into consideration. But there's not one formula. There's not one like we're going to take. If you got one pick and you're always drafted in the 20s, and your team is really good. You got a foundation 7, like you have a different. And when you have more picks and young players, and you're looking for some guys that can turn into stars, you probably rolling the dice a little bit more with some of those picks. So I think that both are. We take everything into consideration, all the facts that we have.
It depends.
It depends.
It just depends.
Yeah.
When Bill Walton created a team, what was it? A team app? What am I looking for? Activity. A team activity to go see the Grateful Dead. He said you didn't go. Do you regret that?
I do not regret that. But here's a funny story of how that happened. Bill's got his own version of the story. He said my wife wouldn't let me go, which is not true, but it's still funny.
It is.
But Bill came in and he put Grateful Dead stickers on all of our lockers. And so I went up to Bill and I said, Bill, I've listened to the Grateful Dead. I'm not a fan, but I want to be a fan. Like you're in love with these guys. I'm missing something. So can you give me their best song? So he gives me a tape and a cassette tape, and I take it home and put it in my car, and I'm listening to it. And I listened to it on the way to practice the next day, and I come back in and I have this cassette tape, and I go, Bill, I'm still not a huge fan, but tell me their very best song. And he just rips that thing out of my hand. He says, when you're a Dead fan, it's all one song. But that was not my song. I didn't hear one, but I have nothing against the Grateful Dead. And I love that Bill loved them so much. That was really cool. But
I could totally hear his voice saying that.
I don't know what Bill was smoking to love that song, those songs so much, but.
Classic. Danny, we appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for sitting down with us. I know Jazz fans love hearing from you.
All right, guys. Thanks. Good talking to you.
Danny Ainge joining us right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It is 10 o'clock. Jake, was that a wild ride or what?
Okay.
Thank you. All right. We are just about wrapping it up here. DJ and PK, we are brought to you by Kenny J's Barbecue. Need a place to go grab a bite to eat? Kenny J's Barbecue. The catering delivers bold, smoky barbecue no matter the occasion. Check out the catering menu at kennyjsbarbecue.com for weddings, work, or any event. That's kennyjsbarbecue.com. Jake and Ben are coming up next. Jazz Media Day continues right here on the KSL Sports Zone.